Hello all and welcome. It is Thursday, November 4th, 2001. This is the Center City, Philadelphia chapter, and we are going to be talking about how to utilize LinkedIn as well as the FENG membership list to do a search, to make that search worthwhile. I'm going to show you pretty much from the beginning how this all works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you so you will see how I am doing this. If you are not seeing the screen that I have open, please unmute yourself and share and scream real loud. Okay, everybody should see my Norton screen. The first thing which you need to do, which I'm just trying to show you that at no time do my hands leave my wrist. You go right into the FENG list. I'm going to show you how to do this. When you're at the FENG screen, you go to the member login. You'll have our member login. Mine is like I'm sure yours, preset. And we come back and we see the FENG screen as we all do. I have to tell you, whenever anyone does a search, you have to understand this search system is good. As you know, this is the Financial Executive Networking Group. The whole idea here is to communicate with peers across town, across your industry, across your region, across the country. And as we have here in some of our other meetings across the world. So there's a lot of things that we can learn from each other. There's a lot of questions we may have from peers to learn what they have done before and to make it work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the nuances of this, how to make it work. Once you learn, once you understand how it works, it can work pretty well, and it can be a very good tool for you. It'll be very reliable. Okay, so once you are logged in, if you go to the membership, you will see the member directory search and click on that. Okay, now when you look here, you'll see that you can put in here what company you may be looking for, the school of the person that you'll be searching for personal information. Maybe you'll have their email address, but that's all you have. But the other thing about it too is you can also search by their current work information. Now, I'm in Greater Philadelphia area. If I have someone who works in Center City, Philadelphia, I might not get that person if I just put their work information here, because I may say Pennsylvania, but I might not get that person. Their work information might not be current, and so it might be best if I go with their home information. And that's one thing that we have found. For example, if I go back and if I do a search by Pennsylvania, and if I look for all of the people within my special interest group who match my profile, I'm going to get people from throughout the state of Pennsylvania. I'm going to get people from Pittsburgh, from Erie, from Scranton, from Wilkes-Barre, from Harrisburg. It doesn't matter. And they're not going to do me any good because I don't find people that live around where I live. So what I have found is that it's very beneficial to look at someone's chapter information. So you can go back and do a search by chapter. Now, for example, when I go back into our chapters here, which are here in the Center City, Philadelphia and suburban Philadelphia, I'm going to find people who live and probably work within the Greater Philadelphia region. And they're people who, let's say, I want to talk to, compared to, let's say, hey, I'm now picking up shop and I'm going to be moving to Denver, Colorado. Therefore, I can go back into the Denver, Colorado group and I can find someone up there who I can begin my conversations with. Okay, so let me show you some of the nuances of what's going on. Let's work here and let's just look at general membership. And I'm going to show you some things as they happen and some challenges that you need to be aware of and will learn from. Let's say, for example, I'm looking for people who are not only in the Center City chapter, but are in the suburban Philadelphia chapter. And I want to look at all these people. And I go back and do my search. You'll see that there are some nuances which need to be done in here. Do you remember all those emails that Matt sends out or FENG sends out say, be sure you update your profile? And you may sit back and say, geez, I've had the same job for 26 years. I haven't changed it in 3 years. I haven't done anything at all in 5 years. Forget it. Nothing's really changed. Well, I got to tell you, records updated after a select date can certainly, it's very important for the search, and you'll see reasons for that. And I'm going to blow this up first so you'll see. Let's say that I want to sit back and talk to my FENG brothers and sisters who are in the center, who are in the two Philadelphia chapters. And I'm going to select the date, and I'm going to say, let's just select the date, and let's pick a date. Boy, I don't know. If I want to make sure these people are with us, so I'm going to look at people who have updated their records, say since January 1st, 2019. Okay, that's safe. That's what, about 3 years ago now? Hopefully somebody's updated their records in the last 3 years. I'm now going to go back and I'm going to select the status group of what I am dealing with. Let's do that here. Hang on for a second here. Good. And what I'm going to do now is you have to go down and change the status group. The status group, there are 4. One is retired. Obviously, they're not working now. They may be deceased. They are not actively involved with our groups. I'm going to take the retired people away. Associate members. Associate members are people who are administrators to FENG. People like me, my accounting and finance career ended more than a few years ago. I was a director of public accounting firm, but I now own an executive search firm. I'm a member of the FENG through the graciousness of leadership, probably because of all I've done for the organization, but I'm what they refer to as an associate member. I will not help you as far as nuances of the industry. So you'll want to take out people from the associate list as well. And now we have 2 other lists, active and alumni. Active members are people who are currently in job search, job transition, about to be in transition. The other group are what they refer to as alumni. Alumni are people who are currently still employed, but they are no longer in job transition. Okay, so in essence, these are the people who you want to search for. Okay, so if I go back and I say search, click, you'll see that there's 444 people who are in my list. However, I only see the first 100. Big problem. You cannot see the other 344 people who are on this list. That's a concern. You'll also see that I take up everyone who claims to be a member of this group. I say claims because they may have attended one of our meetings and saying, hey, I want to catch up to speed. So I'm in Shanghai. I'm in Connecticut. I'm in North Carolina. Are these people maybe going to be helping me that I'm in the greater Philadelphia area? Probably not. So I want to find a way to pare my list down a little bit to get rid of these people who are maybe just not going to be, beneficial to my conversations. There's also other people in here who I'm not even seeing, the 344. So what we can do here is we've got to take that list that we have and pare it down. And I'm going to show you how to do that just using the example that I gave you. By the way, most searches, you do the intuitive thought of going back and hitting that back arrow. On this search, you cannot do that. So therefore, you have to go back and say search again. Understand, my goal is to eliminate the people who are not in Philadelphia, greater Philadelphia area, people in Florida, people in Connecticut, people in Shanghai. And so I'm going to have to find a way to do my search and revise my search. So I'm going to go back and do a search again. Okay? Unfortunately, everything I put in before, I lost. So I have to go back and do this again. Remember, we had some challenges. What would happen if I took my list and I said, okay, let's look at people from Pennsylvania, because I know my chapter's geographic area, people from New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. So let's just look at the Pennsylvania people. So I'm gonna look at their home information, not where they work. Because that's not going to tell me, I'm looking at people from that region. So I'm going to look at people from Pennsylvania. Now I'm going to go to their home information. It's probably the most effective way to do this. So believe it or not, whenever you look for someone's home address or their work address, or the city and state, or the state that they work, I have to go back and first put in the country, United States. And then I have to go back and I have to select the state. Yes, I could put a P in there and come down and just say Pennsylvania, but I want to do it this way because I found it's the most effective way to open it up and do the search. Now, again, I'm going to look at people from the Philadelphia and the Center City chapters. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because I'm going to tell you, if I pick Center City, Philadelphia, and suburban Philadelphia, I would then be above 100. So what I'm going to do is I would, in essence, to find these people, I would go back and do two searches. One is for people in the Center City chapter, and that's going to keep me under that 100 limit that is in this, that's in the output. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to go back to a select date. Well, I can do my select dates. You see I've pre-populated this. I found that if I go back to the prior year, and you can get everyone who's updated their records in a year. And I'm going to run that through. I have that, and I hit, whoops, sorry. I have that. And then I'm going to go through and get rid of my associate members and my retirement. And now I'm ready to do another search. Poof. I'm still over 100, son of a gun. But I can, let's just say this is under 100. I can now go back and take a look at these people. Some of these names will look kind of familiar to you. Let's just pick, I don't want to pick our friends. I'm going to pick, let's look at Dave Brock. I don't think Dave is here tonight. So if I hit view Dave's profile, I can go back and I can see everything about Dave in very easy to see information. I can see that he's a member of the Montgomery Bucks County chapter, suburban Philadelphia, and Center City, Philadelphia. I also see that he's a member of special interest groups, construction, family business, and also real estate. Okay, so he might be a guy. Let's look at his work history. And it is all right here. Okay? So there is a name of the people I can look at. But now, I don't know if I want to talk to Dave or talk to somebody else. There might be some other things that are worthwhile. So let's go back to our list again that we still have here. And believe it or not, I can download that and I can take a look at this. Where is it? I think it's over here. Apologize. And I can download this right here, download directory. Watch. And I download the directory. And I believe I may have to change this. Oh, can you guys see this directory? Yes?
Yeah.
Good. And you'll see that we have the information of every person who we have here. I can download and save this into a file, or I can just sit back and just quickly scroll through these 100 names and say, I'm looking for somebody who's in the pharma world or somebody who's in Philadelphia, and let's see who makes sense I should have a conversation with. Well, here we go. Here's Ed Borkowski, and Ed, see his Edward F, but he goes by Ed. So I can go have a conversation with Ed. I have his work number, and I also have his cell phone number as well as his home address. So, and I can also have other information about him. You know, how long he's been a member, what chapter he's affiliated with, what SIGs he's associated with, and even who his sponsor was. So I can use this information and network off of this. Okay, make sense? If anybody has any questions right now, let me just look at this real fast. If you download the search list, will it show all the names, just the first 100? Paul Herzog asked that question. It'll just be the first one. It'll just be the first 100. And that's why you need to pare that down. I could go back and I could say, okay, I want to look at everybody who is maybe from the Philadelphia chapter, but then has updated their files in the last 9 months, the last 6 months, and get that list lower. Unfortunately, I cannot go back and say I want everybody who's updated their files between my cutoff date 6 months ago and 12 months ago. Can't do that here, so I could capture those people. But unfortunately, the 100 list is what it comes down to. I do not know, who is it here? Leora asked the question, when we sponsor and accept the FENG members, does it update our profile date? I do not know. I think you may want to ask that email to the FENG. My guess is no, because that is not your information. And I think all you really have to do is open this up, look at it, and then resave it. And that will change your date. Okay? I believe they're the only 2 questions here. But again, you can see how beneficial this will be. Let's go back and let's look at some other things I want to show you in here. And if anyone has any questions about what we're talking about here so far, let me know. And but if not, let's keep on charging through here. Oops, here we go. Yes, Joyce.
See, people are asking about going over the initial 100 and finding those members. And unfortunately, I just want to say we can't do it. The only way Ernie's saying, is to try to narrow down your search. And that's what he's showing you. He's showing you how you can narrow it down to the most important 100.
Or the people who have done the most to it. Hopefully,
Yes.
You folks, Joyce, can you still see this? Joyce, if you stay live, you'll help me out and just read the chats. That'd be great.
Yeah, sure.
I am going to go back here. And Joyce, you can still see where I am right now. Whoops, see, I just want to show you. If I did that back feature, it just blows up. There's no state called Pere, okay? So I've got to go back to where I was before, and I have to say search again. And Gary Bender's coming back in again. When I sit back and look at this now, let's look at this for another reason. Let's say, for example, I want to talk to somebody in the FENG who is in the banking world. There's some new nuances that are coming in the bank industry, new pronouncements that are affecting banking, and I want to be careful about that, and I want to understand what is going on. So I'm going to do that. And again, I really want to talk to people who are in my immediate chapter areas again. So I'm going to go back in here in Pennsylvania. I'm going to want to talk to everybody who is in my chapters. And my two chapters again are Center City, Philadelphia, and Suburban Philadelphia. I'm now going to go back to the numbers I know that work, everything that was a year ago. And I am now going to go back and I'm going to focus on that special industry group or interest group that's called banking. So I want to talk to the CFOs, controllers, directors who are bankers as well, because I want to see how they understand this new pronouncement. So I'm going to go back and do this search, and I'm going to see, thankfully, there's only 12. So now I'm going to sit back and talk to these people. I can sit back and I can talk to, oh boy, let's talk somebody here. Let's talk to Camilla. So I can go right to, I can download this information again. Let's just do the download directory and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is a great feature to have. And when I'm here, I can see a lot more about these people. Do I want to, I'm looking for a banker. This guy, Gary Bender, probably not a banker. His current employer is CFO Solutions. That's not a bank. I'm now going to sit back and look at this person, Financial Design Services. I don't know what that is, but that doesn't sound like a bank either. So I have to go through here and find people who are my bankers that I can talk to. Here's someone in the investment world. So see what I'm saying? We can really sit back and see what is going on here. We also can go back to find more people. Where we were shrinking the search before, we can expand the search. So I can go back and find more people. Let me just show you here. Joyce, go ahead. You have a question?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Perhaps if you go back and show, look for somebody who, everybody that works in Pennsylvania that works at, I don't know, what's a bank over there, Bank of America or something like that, company name.
Sure. I can go in there and again, I went back to my search again, and I'm going to try to do this. We'll see how this works. I'm going to say if they work. Let's go back and Joyce, do you want to look at anybody in the state of Pennsylvania, or do you want to look at anybody inside the greater Philadelphia area?
Inside all of Pennsylvania.
All of Pennsylvania, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back and I'm going to say if they currently work inside of Pennsylvania. So I'm going to say USA, and I'm going to say my state, and I'm going to put in here Pennsylvania. I'll show you how to cheat. You put the P in there. And now I'm going to put my dates in here. I can probably be a little more liberal on my dates. So let's go back to, let's be lucky. Let's go back 2 years. Oh, no, let's go back, let's go back a year again. See what I can do. And I'm going to look at people who are in the banking industry. I do not care about chapters, so I'm not going to search on chapters. And now I'm going to do my search. Whoop, I'm going to get rid of my retired, get rid of my associates, and I'm going to hit search again. I found 22 people who are in the banking SIC. And I can go back and do those people and make that happen. So I can see who they are. That's everybody. And that's why you can see this is why I was going outside. I was trying to stay inside of the greater Philadelphia area. Here's somebody who's from Mars. Yes, there is a Mars, Pennsylvania. It's really, and their mascots are called the Martians. There's Easton, there's Quakertown, there's Harrisburg. There is somebody else here because they work in Pennsylvania. Obviously, they're in Haddon Heights. But let's go back here again, Joyce. And you want me to go back and focus on a given bank, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Bank of America.
Bank of America. and I'm going to look at their current company.
Oh my gosh. I'm peeing at my own coat.
Spell things right. And I again am going to go back into, I'm going to go back to 19, see how I do. Try to get more people in here, okay? And so I'm looking for alumni and actives who are employed. By the
Yeah,
Bank of America.
Ernie, I think you
Yes.
have to put it in current work info. You have to put it there because otherwise you'll get,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
you'll get people who worked in a bank, when you put it in work history, you'll get people who worked in Bank of America 12 years ago. You know, you want
Right.
current. So I would take it out of the top. Yeah.
Thank you. Now let's go back and do this again. Let's cheat. Let's put in there the current work information. And let's put in there the state. And let's put in there the current work information. I'm sure there'll be people in here. Okay. Just checking myself out, alumni active. I'm going back 2 years, or really almost 2 years. I'm going to Pennsylvania. PNC Bank is the current stuff. Okay, let's do our search. 1, unbelievable. Joyce, you got to get membership up. But again, these are people who've only updated their files since 19. So I got one guy in suburban Pittsburgh and Greensburg. I can see who he is. Director of Internal Audit. Talent management, that's a weird combination. And I can see about who's Rick and what he's all about. And I can give a call to Rick. Hey, Rick, I'm here in Philadelphia. You're out there in Greensburg, nice part of the greater Pittsburgh area. Help me out. I'm looking for I have a question about the new pronouncement that's coming down the line. How are you folks handling it? Okay.
Okay. Mitch, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. It was that, you know, if you're searching for if you got a lead on a role at PNC and you want to network and see who's working there, I might have done had ever worked there versus currently worked, and I might have seen, like, it didn't matter when they updated. You know, if you're just looking for somebody that's worked there.
Let's try that, Ernie. Why don't we
I'm
take?
going to do that. That sounds like a great way to do it. We have some time here. And again, the search again is really important. Let me see what happens if I put in there just PNC. Might pick up some more people. Again, don't forget this deal with the United States and the state. And again, I'm going to go back here to this far-reaching date of almost 2 years ago. I'm going to get rid of this list, and I'm going to do my search. I found 10. And it's interesting, with the exception of Ed Smith, everybody else is from the western part of the state. So I can talk to this fellow from Mars. I can view his profile. I can talk to Randy, and that is who we have now. Now, I can go back to Randy and I can look at his work history. Oh, He's now working for Corners Group. He was at PNC Bank some time ago. By the way, I want you to notice, I put in there PNC. I did not say PNC Bank because I don't know how this person's might be listed. They might say PNC National Bank. They might say PNC Bank NA. So instead of getting specific and getting, stubbing my toe, I just go back and put PNC in there and I can find everybody else. Okay?
Yep.
By the way, these folks are well indoctrinated, as we all are, about the reason why members call. Members call for help. They need assistance. There's a challenge that they're dealing with. They have a question. Their responsibility is to call FENG members. As FENG members, it's your responsibility to take that call, to answer that email, to look at that text and get back to them with the response. Because again, financial executive networking group. Okay? Joyce, are there any more questions in the chat?
Yeah,
feature?
yes, Leora asked if you can enter 2 banks. Well, I believe you can, you have to do one at a time.
Yes, you have to do one at a time. So I want you folks to understand the nuances of this, how we did this search, and then also the reason why we need to stay under 100, because we only get 100. Now I found 10. I can go back into the search again and I can expand that even further. I guess everyone who's updated their file in the last, since 2000 and see how many more people pop up. But again, there's some challenges, that's why it's always important to make sure that you're updating your files on a periodic basis. So whenever you go into the website, you'll see that that there's a reason to do that. They'll remind you that there's an update. It's time for you to update your files. Okay, Joyce, how did I do on this?
You did fantastic. I couldn't
Thank
do
you.
better. I couldn't do better. You fabulous.
Great. If there's
Hey, Ernie,
no more, go ahead. Anybody else?
Sorry, this is Brian. I just wanted to make one comment. I put it into the chat. When I have gone in here and I was looking for contacts at a particular company, I have found sometimes even people that have updated their profile in the last couple of years that they're no longer at those organizations. So it is helpful to cross-check. I usually cross-check them, with their LinkedIn profile to see if they're still there, if you're trying to have a conversation with somebody that's currently at the organization.
That's also a nuance of LinkedIn, where you really want to update your files. I was talking to as I said, an executive search firm. I was talking to a controller earlier today, and I was going for her because of her current employer, and here she left that employer a year and a half ago, and she was still a viable candidate, but again, that current information was not on her LinkedIn profile, so that was a little frustrating, as it were. Okay. If there's no more questions, I'm going to show you the bonus hour, which is going to take probably a couple more minutes than that. I am going to stop sharing and I'm going to show you something about LinkedIn. And I know, we all have LinkedIn people that are coaches that tell us all about LinkedIn. I am going to show you how to do an advanced search on LinkedIn. Okay. So again, I'm back to my search engine. And I'm going to go to my LinkedIn stuff here so I can log into LinkedIn. And there's my LinkedIn screens. I can go back and I can do all of the searches that I want to do in here. So what I can do now is I'm going to do an advanced search in here to make sure you folks find another way to do things. Oh, and the way I'm going to show you is something that's going to happen up here, which is going to be using groups and using a lot of other things and using other tools as well. Okay, so let's say, for example, I'm doing my search and I put my cursor up here, and I am now going to hit my enter screen. And by the way, this is a free edition. This is not some super fantastic. I give them a whole lot of money each year or each month for my subscription. I'm going to look for somebody who is an FENG member. No, I'm just going to look for an accountant here. Let's look for that. I'm looking to talk to somebody else in the Philadelphia area who may or may not be an FENG member. So I'm going to look for people. And I'm going to go back and pop up all of my filters. And you'll see over here, hopefully you guys can see this. Try to do this over here. These are the filters. I can look at my first degree connections. That's hopefully people who I know, because I'm going to have all this contact information for this person. So I'm going to go back in here and I'll push everybody in the first. And so then I'm going to be looking at people where they're located. Boy, I'm going to look at people in the greater Philadelphia area, but I'm also going to look at other people too. So I'm going to hit Philadelphia, but I'm also going to put in here, this is greater Philadelphia, but I'm also going to put in here Delaware, because sometimes Delaware picks up people. I am not going to put in here, whoops. Delaware, USA, or better yet, Wilmington, Delaware. So I don't pick up somebody down from downstate. And so now I'm going to look at people from the greater Philadelphia area, but also include Delaware. If I added a location like New Jersey, come on, be nice. I can say New Jersey, I can say metropolitan New York. I don't want to have metropolitan New York, but I may just put in there New Jersey. But I'm also going to pick up people from, again, people from North Jersey, Central New Jersey, and Southern New Jersey. So let's just not deal with that, because I'll get too much weird information in here. So let's just do it people in the greater Philadelphia area. And let's say I want to work with a company here. So since it's listed already here, let's go back and let's talk to Joyce's Bank of America. And look, poof, I logged them in because there's their logo. So now LinkedIn knows exactly the company I'm looking for. Let's go back and look at I can look at their industry. What industry do you think we want to talk about? Well, we already have the industry. I don't care about their language. I don't care what they're opening up to. Let's look at their title. Now, here we go. I want to talk to a peer. Remember I had that banking question? I'm going to talk to a peer. Now, watch how I do this. I'm going to talk to a CFO. This is Boolean phrase here. I'm going to put in or, so they're CFO or a chief financial officer. So if they put CFO in their title or chief financial officer in their title, I'm going to get them. Okay. And you'll see that in Boolean, you have to put the capitalized OR and the capitalized AND. Those of you who don't know, I had to put double quotes around this because I'm looking for the exact phrase, chief financial officer. If I didn't put those double quotes, I'd be looking at everybody that has chief financial officer. So if they're, a chief bottle washer, senior financial analyst, a police officer, I would be getting them my search. That's certainly not something I want to do. Okay. So again, refreshing or rehashing here. People who are my first degree connections, who are in Wilmington or in Philadelphia area, or in a Bank of America employees, and they're also CFO or controllers on a so results, it's going to be a big 0 because that's a little bit too specific, isn't it? Chief financial officer. So I know there's no CFOs or controllers in here. I can go back in here to my all filters again, and I can take them out. Let's include in here people who are my second degree connections as well as my third degree connections. And I'm going to say show results. I now have 2 people who are going to fit that realm. I have a LinkedIn member who I don't know who they are, so it's not going to help me too much. If I went back and looked at them, I'm going to open this in a new tab. Notice how I do this too. I click on this and say open new tab. So I have it up here. You guys, can you see that? Okay. Now I'm going to look at, it's the same thing I have over here. I'm going to look at Andrew Jones or Andrew Johnston. I can sit back and see he's the current CFO here, but 9 years ago, 10 years ago, he was the VP over here at Bank of America. But you can also see too, he's currently a CFO. So again, you have some challenges in LinkedIn profile. He met my list because he's the CFO and the banker here, the banker position is here. You with me? So that can be a little strange. Let's go back here and let's just do one more thing here before we knock off for the night. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to redo my filters. And let's say I'm looking for people in the Philadelphia area, and I'm going to knock out their Bank of America, and I'm just going to put in here their industry. Their industry is going to be banking. And I'm going to say CFO or controller. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to get rid of this. I can do without this thing blowing up on me. I have 112 people who fit the list. And now I go back and I have Tom, who is the CFO at Beneficial. By the way, Beneficial doesn't exist anymore. This is dated information. He didn't update his profile. I have another person, Joe. I have Frank. So you can see all this information. You see how I did that advanced search on LinkedIn. Joyce, are you still there? No. This is any more questions that I might have here.
Yes, it's Leora. I have a question. So
Sure,
what I
go
meant
ahead.
earlier was that we can't do and/or searches on the FENG database, and/or Boolean searches and so forth. We're not capable of.
I was told not, no. You have to
Okay.
pretty much click on the box,
Okay, thank you.
okay? So I want you folks to see how to do this. And by the way, I just clicked on Steve Gosden. Oh my God, I used to work with him. When I hit Steve Gosden, I can see different groups that Steve Gosden's a member of. Watch this. If you're looking at somebody and you see these highlights, then maybe they're a member of the same group you are. Watch how I can find his information. Steve is a second degree connection. Steve went to Pitt. That's okay. I'll speak slowly about him. But he and I worked together at EDS. So what it comes down to is I want to talk to Steve. When I hit contact information, I don't find anything about Steve other than the LinkedIn profile that I'm looking at now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a group that Steve and I are both a member of. Watch how this happens and watch how I can send an email directly to Steve Gosden. I'm going to show you how to cheat. Copy his name. Go to your search for your groups, which is under this little checkerboard over here. And you hit groups. See the group icon here? And you remember that Steve and I were a member of a group, this group, the CFO Network. I click on that. I go to the member icon where it says see all. And I put the cut and paste I did. And there is Steve Gosden. And look, I can send him a direct message. By the way, this message is a free message. There is no expense for this at all. This does not go against my so many messages a month that I can send somebody. Pretty neat, huh? So, hey, Steve, great talking to you. Great. I was just doing a search. It was great that you ran into the you and I, that you came up in my search. What's your availability for a conversation on Friday or early next week? So I can send all that stuff to Steve right here. Okay. Hopefully that helped you guys out and you guys can understand that. So what we've done tonight is we talked about how to use the FENG website. We also talked about how to do a search through the FENG membership list. And we also talked about how to use LinkedIn and how you can connect with people who you need to talk to, who are maybe not quite in your network, they're second or third degrees, but you and they share the same network. That is why it is very important to join groups and expand your network through groups, because groups
Ernie?
can allow you to do that. Yes.
Hi, can you show everyone how they can show that they are a FENG member on LinkedIn?
Do you know how to do that? I know if they can, I know if they're a member of the FENG membership group.
I know that I picked it out myself as one of my interests or something like that. I did it, I think.
Okay, you can do that as well. Give me a second here. Let's go
But
back.
as
here.
a chapter leader, I also have the icon as
Yeah,
a position.
If you want to share the screen, Leora, you want to show.
He can go into mine,
Oh, okay.
Leora Gill. It's
Leora,
fine.
I'll
If I'm
tell
on
you
my
what.
iPhone.
Lawyer, give me a second. I'm going to, Lawyer, okay, let's keep the recording going. Leora, I'm going to give you the chance to do that. Leora, the screens are all yours. Show us how to do that.
I'm on my iPhone, so it's not a very good.
Oh, you're no fun. I'm
Right.
sorry. You're no fun. Joyce, do I have that because I'm a leader or not?
I think you can. I don't know. Does he, Leora? Because it's for LinkedIn, so I don't know.
I don't know, but it's on my screen. If you just go to my
I will.
profile,
Yeah, go
Leora
to
Gill.
Leora.
Ah,
Because I'd like a lot of the FENG members to start using this.
okay, good. Give me a second here. I'm going to go back here. I'm just going to search. Leora Gill. Poof, there you go. Leora, we're looking at your information now. I see that we're both members of two groups, the Eisner-Amper group and the executive search group. You are not a member of the FENG group.
I'm pretty sure I am.
Yeah, they threw me out.
Actually, Ernie, if you scroll up, I think it was at the top of her profile.
Was it? You see, I'm looking at this group here. I'm looking at this group here that you would be a member of. The
Let me see that one.
FENG online group. You guys see this?
Okay, I can add this myself now. Let me see if I can go. to
I'm just
LinkedIn
telling
and
you,
add
that's
it.
what it is. That's what I was talking about.
Oh,
so we
because
can
I
do it
have
that
it
way.
as an interest. I also have it as though it's a job.
There you are.
Wow.
There you are here. So yes, you have it in here as an interest. So I do. How did you do that?
As an interest because it lets you follow, I think it was following or interest in companies,
Okay,
and that's how I did it.
good. And therefore, you'll be able to pick up all of this, all the information that might be coming out of the FENG. And if you follow a company, you can pick up when maybe some stock activities, maybe some public announcements that they've made about that organization.
Especially when you're in job search and you need to know what's going on with that company if it's one of your target companies.
Yes, I'm gonna bait you and tease you guys a little bit. After the first of the year, we're going to be going back and cycling through, and we're going to be talking about the other ways we can use LinkedIn for advanced searches, and how you can not only go back and follow somebody, but also not only join their network, but follow them, and also, as Leora talked about, how you can follow these companies. Okay.
So I'm looking, I am following the FENG. So how is it I'm not showing up? Do they have another group that I'm not aware of?
It is the, you're following the organization, the FENG, but there is also there's also a LinkedIn group for the FENG. That is called the FENG online. And by the way, you'll see that there's the FENG group for suburban Philadelphia, as well as Center City, Philadelphia. These are two groups. Please join these groups as well. But there's also the Financial Executive Networking Group, the FENG online. That has 9,000 members in it. So that's 9,000 of your FENG brothers and sisters who you can now go out and reach out and connect with.
And
Thank you.
online is in parentheses?
I'm sorry?
Online was written in parentheses?
No, it is dash online, dash the FENG online.
Okay.